Welcome. Secure Our Rights, official news media, U.S. press. I was hoping to bring you a way different video today on my own case about the school resource officer here in Springfield, Ohio. I went there this morning to do an audit, do a lot, not live. I can't go live yet. Need more subscribers. So while you got a chance, hit that like button, subscribe, make sure you subscribe, hit all the bell notifications, share this out, and get other people to come over and subscribe. I want to be able to go live and do longer videos. Like I said, I'm trying to work on that case. I was going to go and do the FOIA request. And everything in that regards with the school and school resource officer Phillips, the senior officer. Anyways, they're out for Thanksgiving for this week. There's no school, so I can't do that for another week. So until then, I'm going to bring you today's feature from an officer out of Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. Derek Kohler, his name. His partner is McEllie, or the secondary officer in this case, and the victim is Andres Dominicus. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. I have both. I got the body cam footage plus the court hearing for the qualified immunity and how he loses it. I think you're going to find it very interesting, and the prosecutor or attorney for the officer, oh my God, if you could hear her, she contradicts other courts have already ruled in the matter, as well as other higher police officers, as I'll show you, against them. She contradicted everything they said, was trying everything, but don't let me butcher it.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Where you headed?
Where am I headed?
Yeah.
I live in Tempe.
You live in Tempe?
Yeah,
Cool,
I got
man.
a job over here at on Scottsdale and Camelback.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher this.
I
Okay.
get changed because I got another job in Phoenix.
Okay.
Did I break a law?
You live in Tempe?
I live in Tempe.
Okay. What's with the attitude, man?
I'm in a hurry, and I don't know. I don't break. I'm a very, very cautious, good driver.
Okay.
I saw you when I made my U-turn.
Right.
I know I didn't break any laws, so I'm curious on why
you know that you didn't break any laws? So are you saying that I'm violating your rights right now?
I haven't had a traffic ticket in a very long time.
Okay.
I'm a very good driver.
Okay. So,
what's up?
do you just not like the police or what?
Look, sir, I don't have time for this. I have to go home. I have to get changed. I have a shift that starts at 8 o'clock.
Well, that's going to take you longer if you keep the attitude.
Well, I don't have an attitude. Do you want to tell me what you need?
Yeah, I need your license, registration, proof of insurance. I also need to know if there's any guns or knives in the car.
I don't have any guns. I'm an armed guard, but I don't have my gun with me.
Okay.
I'm a security guard. There's some condominiums right behind there. It's called
Is that where you do security?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I had a key fob, and I took it last night. I took it home.
Okay.
I did a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift, and I went home with it, and I was so tired, and I had to go to Phoenix because my TV broke, so I had to go to my storage.
Okay.
And I had to unload all my stuff in there, and I got my stuff over here. So you see, I had to take it back over here. So
okay.
The car's registered to my mom's name.
Okay.
And so.
So you're a security guard, but you have an attitude towards the police, but you have almost the same job as we do.
You better lose your attitude, okay?
Okay.
I don't even.
Go ahead and step out of the car.
You don't have a right to open.
Go ahead and step out of the car.
This is private property.
Go ahead and step out.
Do not touch me.
Get out of the car.
Do not touch me.
Get out of the car. I'm gonna rip you out of the car.
Do not touch me. Hey!
Get out of the car.
Get out of the car right now. I haven't done anything. Get out. Serious?
Get out of the car.
Get out of the car right now. I'm gonna hurt you if you don't get out of the car right now. What the f*** in the doing? Get out of the car.
Get out of the car.
Get out of the car right now. Hitting me. Oh my God. Get on the ground right now. I'm not doing anything. Get on the ground right now. I'm not doing anything. Get out of the right now. Get on the ground. I haven't done anything. Hey, get on the ground right now.
Stop fighting. Stop resisting right now. Stop resisting.
You're hurting me. I don't got nothing in my hand. I'm going to tase you. Don't tase me.
Stop resisting.
Don't. I don't have any weapons.
Stop resisting.
Ow! Ow!
Stop resisting, man.
Ow! Ow! Help!
Stop resisting.
Help! Help! Help!
Stop resisting.
Help! 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 You're hurting me!
Stop resisting, man.
You're hurting me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help! Help! Help me! Help me!
Stop. Release your hands.
Help! I'm not doing
Stop
anything!
resisting.
I didn't do anything! You attacked me!
Stop resisting right now.
You attacked me!
Calm down.
You attacked me! That hurts! You're hurting my ankles! You're on my leg! Help me!
Calm down.
Help me! You're hurting me! Please stop hurting me! You're hurting my legs! You're hurting my legs! Please stop hurting me!
4035, we have one detained.
Stop hurting me!
Roll fire for
Please stop hurting me!
face laceration. And you can unrestrict.
Please stop hurting me!
Why are you fighting with me?
Ow! Ow! You're hurting my ankle!
Roll him over.
You're hurting my ankle!
Stop. You stop yelling. Stop kicking him.
Oh my God! I cannot believe you did this to me! I live in Tempe!
You're fighting with me, bro.
No one's I'm in my car! Who's fighting?
You wouldn't get out when I asked you to.
You don't have a reason to take me out of my
And
car!
you said you usually carry a gun with you. You started.
You're
messing
lying!
around.
I didn't say I said I am a security guard.
That's an armed security guard.
No, I said I do own it. You said, do you have a weapon? I said I do own
And
a
then you
gun.
won't get out of the car and you're
Sir,
reaching around.
sir, I'm not getting no. You're wrong.
My
You're
safety's
lying.
number one, man.
You're lying. I hope you have your video camera on.
It is.
I'm gonna charge you.
My safety's
Please don't
number
hurt my
one,
ankle,
man.
sir.
4035.
Don't hurt
We're update location Scottsdale, man.
Please, sir, don't hurt my ankle.
No one's hurting your ankles. You're
You're putting pressure on my
okay.
ankle.
I'm gonna release it. Are you gonna keep on fighting?
I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
Help me! Help!
So now you've seen the video. Now here's the court. You're gonna love this. I'm gonna try my best, keep my mouth shut. I want you to really be able to take everything in. So here we go.
Please the court. I represent Officers Kohler and McKelly in the city of Scottsdale in this matter. I'd also like to reserve 5 minutes of my time for rebuttal.
Hang on.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Lori Davis. May it please the court. I represent Officers Kohler and McKelly in the city of Scottsdale in this matter. I'd also like to reserve 5 minutes of my time for rebuttal. Mr. Dominguez reached. Plaintiff admits he reached, and it's on the video. Plaintiff's sudden reach into the dark, cluttered interior of his car, away from the officer, is what sets this case apart from all others cited by the plaintiff in the court below. No force was used before the reach. The reach precipitated the force. And it was in that tense moment after the seventh command and warning to get out of the car under the totality of the circumstances known to the officer at the time that the reach occurred. Ninth Circuit case from 2009, Ramirez versus City of Buena Park, instructs officers that sudden movements or attempts to reach for an object not immediately identifiable supports the reasonable belief of an officer that the suspect is armed and dangerous.
So counsel, the district court said, I think it's ER 15, but page 13 of the district court's order, defendants claim Kohler believed Dominguez posed a threat to officer safety. Defendants, however, failed to point to objective facts in the record that substantiate Kohler's beliefs or concern. Is it your view that the video, what you've just described as the reach, that's what you rely on for us to determine that the district court just simply as a matter of law got this wrong?
Your Honor, I believe it's the totality of the circumstances. I think you start with the fact that traffic stops are inherently dangerous. We know that 2,000 officers are assaulted and 10 officers are killed each year feloniously with weapons in traffic-related pursuits. In Michigan versus Long, United States Supreme Court opinion affirms that fact, that they're inherently dangerous. And the reason for that is because a weapon can be hidden in a car in the tight compartments under the seat, in between the seats, at any point. In this particular circumstance, the tensions had risen, and it's very clear from the video, to the point where Mr. Dominguez said, you'd better lose your attitude.
Well, I watched the video,
Yeah.
and I've got to say, it's not hard for me to understand how a jury conclude that it was your client who was the instigator, your client who upped the ante, your client who injected that pressure. It was your client that asked the person who had stopped for license and registration, inherently expecting him to be reaching for things. So I'm not so sure the simple fact that at some point he reached for something else, well, that trumps everything else. You're allowed to apply what seemed to be pretty dramatic force, up to and including a body slam, well after there was any risk of somebody reaching into the next seat. So it seems to me basically that your characterization depends upon your acceptance of, or the jury's acceptance of, your view of the facts. And if the jury could reasonably conclude to the contrary, how is this a summary judgment?
The jury could not reasonably conclude to the contrary. Again, we have a tense situation. I think
Why not?
The primary problem here, Your Honor, is we have admitted facts that establish reasonableness when viewed from the officer's perspective.
Well, so let's go through the facts. Which facts do you tell us are enough and undisputed to establish reasonableness?
The reach itself, and it was a fast.
So we got the reach.
Okay,
let's check off. What else is there?
All right, the fact that he said he's an armed guard, but he doesn't have his gun with him. What reasonable officer is going to believe he doesn't have his gun until he's been patted down?
That pursued the security guard angle and kept insisting, how can you be hostile to the police if you're a security guard? There was no suggestion that he was armed, and there was nothing said by the individual that suggested he was looking to impose any risk or danger or threatening the officer in any way.
At the point that that force was applied, which is the point the court must look at, that's the point where the threat occurred. I will agree with the court.
There, at the time of the body slam, exactly what threat was being posed?
The same threat that was posed before. The threat was not contained until Mr. Dominguez had been out of the car and handcuffed, searched. He had not been searched. The vehicle had not been searched. MIMS allows
You're
this
answering broadly. At the time of the body slam, what was the threat?
The threat was he was still struggling with the officer. The officer was in the act. It's a fluent act of the officer getting him out of the vehicle and onto the ground so they can get him in handcuffs. At no point did Mr. Dominguez give the officer any indicia of compliance. He ignored every single comment, every single command by the officer. The officer had absolutely every right to order him out of the car and for him to be out of the car.
When you say non-compliant, ignored every command, isn't that looking at the facts in the light most favorable to your client? I mean, we've all watched the video, and it struck me that while nobody in this video is behaving entirely sensibly, in the light most favorable to the driver, it appears that he was trying to comply with giving them identification. He was trying to comply with ratcheting things down. Why should we look at it in the light most favorable to your client in terms of whether he was complying or not complying? Why shouldn't we just look at the video and look at it in the light most favorable to the driver?
The Supreme Court requires us to look at the facts, the admitted facts from a reasonable officer's perspective.
Right, but that's not the same as in the light most favorable to your client.
Your Honor, we have at the point that he is ordered out. He orders Mr. Dominguez out of the vehicle 7 times, and on the 7th time, and the warning, "Get out, or I'm going to rip you out of the car."
Isn't he also standing in front of the door, not allowing the driver to get out of the car while he's ordering him out of the car?
Judge Desai, I believe that it is I think is a red herring for the point of the use of force. There was no force used. He's ordering him out of the car. Plaintiff is leaning back, much like you or I might do if we drop our cell phone in our car. But what is he leaning back for? Is he leaning back from a reasonable officer's perspective to gain access to something, to gain a weapon? And then when he reaches suddenly back, Is the officer not reasonable in perceiving that to be an imminent threat? And that's the point that force is used, regardless of whether he could get out of the car or not. At that point, Mr. Dominguez was a passive resistor until the point that he chose to make that sudden, unexpected reach, which was different from every other fidget or looking for papers. The tensions had risen at that point, and he unexpectedly reached into the dark interior compartment of that car.
Oh, it wasn't all that dark because the other officer was the other side shining his flashlight in that direction.
There's no evidence,
No.
Judge Clifton, that Officer Kohler saw anything that the flashlight was shined upon. And even if it did.
I'm not saying what he saw. I'm saying it wasn't all that dark. You're trying to emphasize it's dark, and I'm saying, gee, a flashlight is going through with the officer on the other side. So again, it seems to me that your argument depends on a certain characterization of the facts, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing here. If the facts are disputed, if there's a genuine issue of material fact, which there appears to be, then summary judgment doesn't appear appropriate. Now, if you want to settle on the uncontested facts, that's fine, but you're not doing that. You're insisting, for example, sudden reach into a dark part of the car, and that is not uncontested. So tell me, based on uncontested facts, I accept the law that says we look from the perspective of the officer, but I also accept the law that says contested facts, we look from the non-movement's perspective. In this case, that's the plaintiff. So you've got to get us to facts that are not contested, that establish a basis for qualified immunity. And all of your arguments so far seem to me to wander into the territory that requires us to accept facts that are not uncontested.
Mr. Dominguez reached into the car. We do not know from the officer's perspective, where was he reaching? Was he reaching under the seat, between the seats? If it was daylight, I mean, it makes it worse that it was dark and that the flashlight might intermittently be showing things. But the court has clearly recognized that weapons can be hidden anywhere, and this car was clearly cluttered. In addition, we have admitted facts. We have the reach. We have the active resistance that Matos defines, the clutching of the wheel, the bracing inside the car, and you see the ignored commands on the video. You see the continued resistance as he gets out of the car. And I will respectfully disagree with the district court that the video doesn't contradict Mr. Dominguez's story. It clearly does. And I'll refer the court to Officer McKelly's on-body camera video.
We won't watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that as a given. I got to say, the impression I came out of it, and we haven't conversed among ourselves, but the impression I came out didn't really corroborate the officer's description. And so a jury looking at that might reach the same kind of conclusion I reached, which is, the officer was the one who was instigating this problem. He didn't really seem threatened.
The officer did not ask Mr. Dominguez to reach. The officer reacted to the reach. The officer asked for his license and registration. He was expressing his suspicion with the story that's being given by Mr. Dominguez. And I think when you look at the moment of the reach, it is whether an objective officer would have reacted to that reach. Would an officer sit back and wait? Mullinex versus Luna tells them that he doesn't have to do that.
So, counsel, what the district court found at ER 16 is a reasonable jury could conclude that when taking the totality of the circumstances into account, Kohler unnecessarily created his own sense of urgency, and the potential threat of a weapon without more did not create an immediate danger that justified the use of substantial force. Do you think the district court's determination there was wrong as a matter of law?
I do, Your Honor. I do not believe there was substantial force issued. It was hands-on only force. No weapon was used. He had an absolute right to get him out of the car. You see him pulling, you see him pushing. You see, in response to the active resistance, which he knows he can't use his taser because Matos told us he can't use his taser. And so in the face of active resistance. And so he's doing everything he can to get the man out of the car and onto the ground and into handcuffs so that he can safely search him, search the vehicle, and conduct his investigation. Every step of the way, Mr. Dominguez fought him. And every step of the way, the force was proportional to the threat posed by Mr. Dominguez. Reasonableness all the way. And not only that, Your Honor, clearly established. Where's the case? Where's the case that shows him what he should be doing? Where's it on squarely on all fours governing these facts? This was not a passive resistance situation. He reached into the interior of his vehicle away from the officer unexpectedly and suddenly. And Ramirez versus City of Buena Park tells us that allows him to have a reasonable belief that the suspect is armed and dangerous.
Did you want to reserve the rest of your time?
I would like that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to have to continue to part 2 for this. Stay tuned because his attorney is now preparing to come up, which you see in the background. And after he comes up, of course, she had her little 5-minute rebuttal, and you gotta wait for it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be so worth it. Thank you for joining. Make sure you're subscribed. If not, subscribe. Hit that like and share this content. I'm working on my own story. Please go back and review that. My last 3 videos about that school resource officer Matthews and the incident going on with my family and my daughter. Thank you, and I'll